Hey there, welcome to day 32 of playing chess every day until I reach 1500 Elo. Currently we're at 1112. Let's go ahead and hop right into a 15-minute rapid game. Alright, we're up against another 1200, which we also were yesterday. Like it was like a 1246 or something, which was the highest rated player that I faced. And I think this guy's the second highest rated player I faced. So yeah, we're starting to get paired up with some 1200s, which is cool. Although I expect this game probably to be challenging. I want to play the London system, but I don't know how to respond to this early c5 move, like immediately. I think I definitely don't want to take it. And I want to get my bishop out, but let's just protect it probably with this first. Either that or this. I mean, it's already protected here. But if I'm forced to take with the queen, then he's going to start developing with tempo on the queen, and I don't really like that. So let's just do the knight. And then if he does that, then we can just trade it instead of having to hop away. Well, I guess I do have to hop away if he does that. I do not know where to hop though. I don't think I want to just keep getting chased. I go here, he has that. I do have this. That would check. So maybe I'll try that. I don't know, it seems kind of risky, but if he pushes this pawn here, then I don't have that anymore anyway, because it's blocked. So let's just hop back to the original square that we were on. And yeah, I don't know. Now we're definitely not in the London, and this is pretty different. So I'm just gonna have to just make stuff up here. So let's just do this. I'm running into a lot of opening traps and lines that I'm not familiar with when I'm getting paired with these slightly higher rated players. So I think I really need to just go through all the common traps and different lines that people can go down, like the early c5 here. I don't know if I've ever even seen that in a rapid game at the lower ratings. Let's just, I want to go here or here. I want to get the bishop out first. Go here, back, then back here, and then I'm double attacking the pawn. And he can't place his bishop here. So let's just go all the way out. And pin his knight for now. I don't have a great way to support my pawn here, but probably just this. I don't have another pawn to support it though. Okay. Yeah, I think this. The thing is, it might be tricky though, because even if I learn what to do for the early c5 move, I probably won't run into it again for a while, so even if I kind of remember it, by the time I actually run into it again, I might have forgotten. So I'll have to really like drill it down a few times, or maybe um, play Blitz and see if people play it in there to kind of practice it. But I don't know, I don't feel like I see it in Blitz very often either. If I take, he'll take here. I think I want to just drop back. Pushes that. To be careful about getting trapped. But if he goes here, then I go here. And then if he goes there, then I open up the escape square. Okay, so we get to maintain our... Well, it's not really a pin anymore, actually. Because we're just looking at the bishop behind it. Um, thinking this or this. This would support the pawn. But then the bishop can't really see anything. This, the bishop might have more options to come to some of these squares. He only has one defender of this pawn, which is the knight. I don't have a way to trade it off right now, though. If I do drop this back, he'll need another defender. He could push this. I guess that would be fine for him. So let's just develop this bishop. Let's just go here. Just act kind of as a pawn here for now, and then maybe later on we can... okay, well, he's threatening the bishop. He's not threatening the fork here. He's just threatening the bishop. I think I can take his pawn. Which I think I'm okay with doing that. And I still have a defender on this pawn. We'll have this check, but I can push my pawn here. Or this. Well, he'll only have the check if I move the knight. Okay, let's just take the pawn. And we can trade here. Or like this. Now, I am a little bit concerned about the fact that this bishop is out in the open undefended. So there could be some kind of discovered attack on it. Although not really, because I can take with the threat of taking the queen. So unless he has a check or something, then it should be okay for the time being. I could take here. He takes... I don't have a good place for this knight. And I could support this pawn here. I don't think I want to take it. I mean, it is already twice defended. If he takes it, then he's double attacking the bishop, which is also pinned to the queen. Well, it's not really pinned because it would just be a queen trade, actually. So I potentially could move the bishop. But... here... and this is twice defended, but then I would double. Well, I have this. So I guess it's okay. A lot of stuff is like potentially... these two are both hanging, so these potentially could both be under threat. I could take this first and then hop the knight back somewhere. I don't know where, actually. Let's just defend the pawn for now. Take like that, but then I only have one defender. Let's just defend it, and then if he takes, I'll take back like this maybe, and then we can get the queen trade. Okay, he doesn't take that yet. I think I want to kick this. And just be happy to take this trade. I'll probably have the knight back, since this knight is kind of at risk being exposed over here without any protection. And I don't have any other good squares over here to advance to. Yeah. I still have the two defenders here. And he only has two defenders of this pawn. So I could go take. I would need the queen to be open, so maybe I go here actually. Yeah, maybe I should do this. He takes, I take. Take her here. Yeah, I think I want to maintain two attackers on this. And then if I can get rid of the defender. Although, if I take, then he's threatening the knight, then I have to hop the knight back anyway. So I don't think that works. So let's just take like this for now. And then maybe I'll castle queenside. I'm thinking take here so that I'm not forced to get an isolated pawn. Take. He could also go take. I take. He takes. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would go. Let's try. Actually, after take. Then he could take this pawn. So actually that isn't good. So I think I should just take it with the knight here. And it will cause an isolated pawn if he trades here. I think I'm gonna want to take this first. Actually, oh, that doesn't work out very well because when he takes back with the queen, then he'll be able to win this pawn and with check. So that's actually not so great. here, here. Could go here, which pins and double attacks the knight after. Let's see if that works. Because his queen will be undefended here. So, does this work? Does he have a check? No, he doesn't have a check. I think it's fine. He could double his rook up. Or defend it like this, so he will have ways to defend it. But I think I prefer that. Hopefully that's not blundering a tactic, but I think not since there's no checks. Well, there's that check, but there was no knight checks. But I think with this check, that I can just push this pawn. And then both of these are still under threat. This is under threat twice. So I think I should be fine there, right? Here, he can't take it or anything. I guess he could, I could push it, and then he could sack the knight for the pawn. Oh, because I can't take back with this pawn because it's going to be pinned since I haven't castled. So that actually is a problem. Take, stack the knight. And then I just can't take back. Yeah, so I think I might be in trouble here. Can't go here. Is this good? And then he's just double attacking this, and then he can just trade off the knight and the queen if he wants. He doesn't have this, though. But if he moves the bishop, he will. So it could be pretty dangerous. Yeah, maybe I should have just taken this and allowed the check. But I really didn't want to. That seemed pretty bad to me. I can just move this. But then he can just move his knight. Here, here. Yeah, I definitely can't just sack that. The pawn for no reason. I don't know, I'll just try this one because this doesn't work. Um, Still have this pawn covered. But yeah, the fact that I'm blocking my rook is not good. And I'm just getting checked a lot. So I'm gonna be interested in the game review. What was the best way to play this? If I should have just taken the knight with the pawn and allowed that check, because that seems like it probably would be better than this sequence here. Just do here. Still have this rook to defend. Probably will need to push this pawn, make an escape square. He'll still have checks on the dark squares if I go there. But at least it can like free my rook, and then maybe I'll push this pawn or block with the queen. I don't know if there's any way to defend this pawn anymore. Oh, actually, if I go here, then he's pinned. But if he takes with this, then it doesn't matter. So he could just take it with the queen. But the rook can't move. Or it couldn't move for one move until he moves the queen, but then he's fine. I can't... Yeah, I don't know. I think the position is looking pretty bad. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to resign because I would just lose my queen here. And I'm already in a pretty bad position, so let's resign. I think I'll play a second one, but let's look at the game review. See if there's anything I can learn from that. Okay, he had insanely high accuracy, 91.6, and mine was pretty low. Whenever it's in the 60s, I'm not too happy with 60s. 60s is pretty bad. 950 game rating, his was 1900, so he played extremely well. Let's go through the moves. Yeah, I had no clue what to do on this. Oh, it wanted me to just push the pawn. That was already inaccurate. Wanted me to jump here. Here, here, and then back here. I was thinking here. That says excellent. Okay, so that was an option at least. And then I guess we would have had an early queen trade. And the game's pretty much even there. But the way I played it, he had an advantage. Well, it's still about even, actually. He had a slight advantage. Wanted me to take that. So there I got a free pawn at least. And I was winning here. That was a mistake to protect it. Because he can win a pawn. Let me see. Pushing that. Okay, well that's a pretty difficult sequence to have predicted. From just that move. That was a mistake. Because I'm losing a pawn because that was great, but then I still lose. Yeah, that was a mistake. I still lose the pawn because after I take here, then we lose it with check. I guess it's still even though because I won that pawn earlier. So this, I guess, pretty much would have been fine, but I was really avoiding it, and then it cost me. So I tried to pin the knight to the queen, and I was looking for any knight checks that would allow him to get out of it, but I should have also checked for the queen check. I didn't think the queen check was a threat, but then after I looked at it more, I realized that this rook, this pawn is pinned because the rook would hang. And that's not anything, like, I didn't look at any of that when I was just making this move. That seems like really hard, really like far away into the future. But I got to get better at calculating a couple more moves into the future like that. And then at this point, that was a mistake. It wanted me to just protect the pawn by pushing it. But then I just give up the queen. So yeah, I was losing the queen either way, so it was over. Alright, let's play a second game. Yeah, the 1200s are really good. I have trouble against 1200s for sure. Now we have an 1115. Alright, before I was always playing the Caro-Kann moves against d4, but people in the comments were saying that I should learn the Slav. So I looked up a couple of the moves of the Slav. So you start with d5 instead, and then you play c6, I think. But I don't know it too well, so let me try that. Let me try the Slav. Okay, we'll take here. And I know there's like the two versions, the regular slab, which I think is where you keep this pawn open and you can bring the bishop out. And then there's the semi-slab, which is where you close the bishop in. And I don't really know like the theory behind either so well, but I know that I think that the video I listened to was saying that it's a little riskier to try to play the regular slab and take the bishop out early because there can be some threats on this pawn here, and it can be hard to defend both of these pawns. So I'll have to be cautious of that. I think I'll just play the regular slab to avoid that and see how that goes. Let's start with this, then this. Or no, this isn't the regular slab. I think this is the semi-slab when you close it off. So if I can learn some more of the theory and the moves for the semi-slab or the slab, then I'll make that my main response, I think, against d4 instead of like playing the Caro-Kann, which is a little bit, I think, inaccurate to play against d4. It's not the same as playing against e4. Um, let's see, how do I want to develop? Maybe here. Then if he pushes, I can't really go here because then I'm forced to like double this pawn up, which I don't really want to do. Let's develop the bishop here first. We still have our two defenders on this pawn. And then I could... What could I do? Bishop. No, I can't really get the knight out. Yeah, I don't know how to deal with the bishop, the light square bishop being closed off. Maybe I need to like just start throwing these pawns forward and then get it over to one of these squares. That could be good. Alright, let's just put this bishop here so it doesn't clog up the knight here, which I want to go to this square. E7 square. I think I'm fine with this, so I'll probably just push this pawn, and if he wants to trade it, then that's okay. And I'll just solidify the pawn chain in the center. Take this way? I think it's better to take this way, but I'm not totally sure. But if I take this way, I keep all these pawns connected, and then just the one isolated pawn on the side. Versus this, I have two chunks of pawns. Although if I do this, it reopens the bishop. So let's just do this. We'll reopen the bishop and have the two segments of pawns here. Then let's develop. We pin this and try to trade it off since it's defending this pawn. I think I want to develop the knight here. And I should try to castle in a second as well. And maybe I'll actually push this and develop the bishop over here, where it's looking at the rook, and this bishop is maybe looking at this other square that the rook could go to. But the knight's blocking it for now. But if the knight moves, it could actually be possible to trap that rook with both the bishops. And then I'm thinking of going here, maybe, and then here. Well, if he takes with the queen, then I can't go here with the bishop yet. Or with the knight yet. Alright, well now this knight is pinned to the rook. And my knight is pinned to my king. But with the knight pinned to the rook, maybe I can double up. Probably should castle just first though. Castle, that's defended. His knights can't go here. This knight could hop into here. But I probably could push it with this. Can't come into here. I like that this knight for now is covering both these pawns as well. Particularly this one, because this is a weak pawn. Could go bishop here, bishop over here. If he goes bishop here, I think I'll just push this pawn, because then that kicks the bishop and threatens, or prevents the knight from coming into this square. But then yeah, it would be nice if there's a way to double up and win this knight. Could go here also and threaten the pawn, and then get this knight over on it. Alright, so he goes for that move. And I think I just want to do what I planned here. Which was this. And I have to make sure to defend the knight before I move the queen, since it is just loose here, so I'll probably bring the rook over first. I don't think I want to take this, because I want to leave this as a weak pawn. So I think I'll probably maybe just drop back to here and trade. If I maintain the pin, he'll just push this. and then I have to drop back here anyway, and I don't think I gain anything from him pushing those pawns. Except for the fact that they could never be used to support this pawn. But they just take up more space, and I don't really want that. So let's just go here and just trade. And I think push this pawn and then develop the bishop here. Or I still try to go for this. Trade and attack this pawn. It's a little harder to attack this pawn now because I can get the knight on it, but the queen can't attack it from here anymore. I'd have to move here and then here. I could attack it from like here, but he just guarded that now. Yeah, so let's just push this. Then come over here. His knight still can't jump in really. They're pretty restricted. Can't hop in here, can't hop in here. The only downside, I think, to putting the bishop here is that I block the defense of the pawn. But if the knight moves and the queen is threatening the pawn, then I can just slide the bishop over. I might want to push this pawn too and open the position up more. I think the chances of being able to just outright win this center pawn are not super high, so it's probably worth it to just try to open it up. Probably get this rook actually on in line with this pawn. Alright, so he is attacking this pawn now. If I go here, he can go here. The pawn will be protected. If he goes here, he might get himself trapped. Because if I threaten him here, can't go to any of these squares. Oh yeah, I probably need to threaten here because he'll be threatening the rook. But I think there might be a way to trap him if he comes into this square. He could come into this square actually, that would be better. Yeah, that's probably what he'll do. Let me see if there's any trap. If he takes this, is there a discovered attack? There's no check. I could go here. Queen's under attack, and then I could try to double the pawn. That might be worth doing. But I do lose a pawn for that, so maybe not. Right, let's just go here. Alright, so he goes into this really good square. So I probably will just want to try to trade that off if I can. But I don't know if there's a good square to get to where I can do that. It also does prevent me from pushing the pawn, which I did want to do. probably just go here. And start threatening the pawn so the queen can't. Well, he does have the 2 defenders, so I don't know. It doesn't do too much. Let me see if there's a way to get to a square where I can trade off his knight. I could go here, here, here. Then he has... Yeah, no, I could do that, I think. Or here, here, here. But that's less active and blocks the defense of my rook. So I think here, let's go here first. And we'll just trade rooks. So here, here, and then here. And I might push this pawn again so that the bishop is guarding it. And then the rook can move. Oh yeah, because actually, once I trade, he can take it. Yeah, I actually missed that until just now. But it shouldn't be a big deal. It's just my like side pawn anyway that's already isolated. Oh, he didn't go for that. Well, I think I'll just trade again and then push this pawn. He has this check, but I can block it with the knight. And go here, but then he will just take it. So let me see if there's any other check to be concerned about. This, yeah, I can also block this with the queen. But then he has this. So I don't want to block with the queen, actually. I think if I block with the knight, he goes here. Then I can guard with the queen as well, so it should be okay. Let's push the pawn. So far, it's pretty even. This definitely is risky, letting him come back here, but I didn't really want to give the pawn up for free, and I'm pretty sure that I can defend this. Just by blocking. And this knight is still restricted by this pawn, which I think is really useful. I'm still interested in rerouting this knight to here if that's possible, but I can't do it when he has 2 attackers on this square. And I just have the 1 defender, which is the queen. But if I can do that and get a trade here, that would be good, because this knight outpost is very strong. And that would also allow me to start pushing these pawns. Because this could be a very strong potential pass pawn if we can get a trade here. I go here, I also could be threatening some kind of checks and maybe winning pawns or something. The bishop and the knight both look at this square. And this square over here is cut off by the queen. Alright, so he goes for the check. Which I think if I block... I definitely don't want to do this, because then after he goes here... I guess I would just trade. Oh yeah, no, I guess I can do that. Because if he goes here, then the queen's just hanging. This pawn is covered for now. This pawn's covered. Bishop's covered. So which do I want to block with? This or the queen? I would be down for the queen check because I think my pawns are a little bit better. Here, 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 here. Take. Yeah, I think we'll just get the queen trade if I come back. That's what I'm hoping. I hope I don't miss something there. Doesn't have any checks after that. So let's just play that. This knight still can't do much. Can't go to any of those squares. It's basically just solely the defender of this pawn right now. That's its entire role. Alright, so we get the trade. And then he just hung this knight. Okay. Don't know what that was about. Especially since he was like calculating for quite a while, like before those previous two moves. But I mean, I've done the same type of thing plenty of times, so. Especially with knights, like those are the things that I always miss and just somehow blunder it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes ahead and resigns. Okay, no, he's not going to resign. I can hop here and win the pawn. And then I'll just be trying to support these two. And this pawn cuts off this one from pushing, which is also nice. He will have this one as a pass pawn after that, but it has a long way to go, and I should have, like, I can block it with the bishop probably, or use the knight to catch it. Also, I could hop the knight here, try to trade. He has this check, but it doesn't threaten anything after that. He's still trying to play it out though. Could I like push this pawn? I don't want any of his pawns to become a threat. I think it's fine. I think I don't need to play defensive moves here. I think I can just start activating my king. Or I move the knight right away. covered by the bishop and just immediately start pushing the pawn. He could go here, he could go here. He doesn't have a great way to defend these squares, so he'll have to do it with his king. Let's just do the king first. King activation is always important. We'll come in here and threaten the knight. And then probably just try to run up for these pawns and push mine down the middle. Everything I have is supported. The bishop is really well connected with these pawns. The only thing that's not supported is the knight. But he can't really threaten the knight except for with his knight, so I could just trade it. Okay, now he resigns. I thought he was going to play it out. I wanted to, like, I do want to get more in-game practice, even like in a position like that, just practice pushing pawns and supporting them. But he decided to go ahead and resign. Let's take a look at the game review. And we're back to 11-14. So it's still kind of bouncing around in this like 11-10, 11-20 range for now. And we both had pretty good accuracy. I had 88.5. So I'm definitely happy with that, especially compared to the last one. He had 82.1, and he had one blunder, which was just hanging the knight at the end. I'm curious how the position was before he hung the knight. Looking at the graph right now, it looks like it was pretty even. He actually had a slight advantage before he hung the knight. So it would have been a pretty interesting in-game, I think. Okay, so this is all good. That's good. This was excellent, but it preferred getting the knight out first. Yeah, I still got to get used to these Slav moves. That was inaccurate. Oh, it wanted me to just take here because the defender's pin. I normally don't like to take this because I feel like it always leads to just the pawn getting recaptured, but maybe in this case that wouldn't have happened. Maybe I could have played this, capture, and then play f5 to support it. But that seems like a very foreign type of structure and opening that I'm not familiar with. Okay, we get the trade. He wanted me to take the knight first. Pretty even. I think it's going to be pretty even most of the game. There were no like crazy tactics or anything. He is winning. It actually didn't like this move. I did like this because it seemed to help out a lot throughout the game, having the bishop placed really well here. But it wanted me to drop all the way back, which I definitely didn't want to do because I didn't want to break the rooks apart. And I guess I should have just rerouted the bishop over here somewhere. I think this outpost gave him a huge advantage. He actually has a plus 2.7 advantage right here. We trade. I wanted him to kick my bishop here. That was great. Wait, would it have been okay to do the knight? No, that's... It just says it overlooks a better way to block a check from the opposing queen, so maybe there's not an actual tactic. Let me see what the follow-up is. Okay, there's no tactic, but he just holds the pin on the knight. And then it stays stuck for a while he pushes his pawns, I guess. So he gets a better position out of that. So going with the queen was best. It didn't want him to trade. So right before he blundered the knight, it's basically even. He has plus 0.49. And then, yeah, it was over from there. I was definitely going to be able to get my pawns to the end of the board with the knight and the bishop versus just his knight. And yeah, so that was a good game. We're at 11-14. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on day, what was this, 32? So I'll see you on 33.